Om. अज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानजनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यनमोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीयुतापत्कमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहागणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवादूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहागणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते ताप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। शिला गुरुदेव की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, जय जय श्री राधेश। Hare Krishna. Thanks again for all the devotees for giving me the opportunity to able to serve you today. And while I was reciting the Mangala Charan, obviously we are getting almost daily health updates from Guru Maharaj Ji. So it is, I guess, for all the disciples of His Holiness Jayapataka Swamiji Guru Maharaj Ji's health. Whenever we hear, it's what Guru Maharaj Ji has done, what Guru Maharaj Ji has been doing, and the potential Guru Maharaj Ji has compared to anyone else is amazing. So Jai, it's very inspiring. It's very, very, very inspiring how not only Srila Prabhupada Ji, who went there and said that I'm just here to follow my Guru Maharaj's instruction. And Guru Maharaj Ji has dedicated his own life, 100% completed. It's amazing that how somebody could do it. Well, I would say for myself, sometimes struggle to find the time for seva, even during weekdays. But how some of the devotees, they have just completely left everything and moved, relocated to Dham. So Jai to all of them. Very inspiring indeed. Hare Krishna. So let me share the screen. And yesterday, Prabhuji, as Prabhuji always do, it was a very nice session by Prabhuji. We all enjoyed it. And before I go, I've just noticed Nitya Narasimha Prabhuji as well. Hare Krishna. Then pranams to you, Prabhuji. It's always good to see God brothers, God sisters, and all the devotees, but of course, some of those. We are doing Nectar of Instruction these days. So like it says, Nectar of Instruction, fourth verse, that what would you like to exchange with devotees? So it's so nice to see, to have the darshan of the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for that, Prabhuji. Very well. So, very quickly, let's, we have taken the mercy of the Lordship through the means of Manglacharan and Panchtattva. So, still, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So recently we were doing the chanting, and it was a kind of chanting workshop. And somebody asked that should we recite something before we go to the next round, or even when we start the first round, and said we should always recite the Panch Tattva mantra. And of course, some different devotees, they follow different. But this was one of the instructions given by one of the senior Vaishnavas. And we are doing Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's very, very, very helpful. The more we take the name of the Lord. Great. So now the time to recite the verses in Bengali, which is amazing. A bit of background. I think Prabhuji started last time. These verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya lila. We are on chapter 15, which is the Lord accepts Prasādam from the house of another great devotee, Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya ji. And I've been listening to some of the lectures to understand how this could help in our practice. So maybe we will follow that. But there is, whether you get anything from this session or not, but there is a series by Gauranga Prabhuji on Chaitanya Charitamrita available on Hare Krishna TV. So anyone who is listening, then great the way Prabhuji has explained. And I understand that very nicely. Reason being, he gives the takeaways. So like we usually do, systematic, thematic, based on a theme. You go, and he wouldn't recite all the verses like we do. But and there's a reason why we will see very shortly. But few verses, group of verses, and there's a theme behind it, and then he will share the lessons we can learn in it, which is very important. That whatever we learn, whatever we read, we study, and there's a difference. We read, we study, and then we're able to get some takeaways which we can follow. So if anybody would like to, however, it's in Hindi. So mostly I listen in English, but I found that in Hindi. But fortunately for me, I was able to understand that. So if anybody looking for it, Gaurang Prabhuji on Hare Krishna TV, YouTube channel, Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think Prabhuji has gone for everything, but Madhya lila is, of course, so I've heard a few of his lectures along with some others, just to understand how we can understand these verses. So let me go through, recite, and maybe I will request some of you, especially those who recite Bengali so nicely. And I always feel, because it's somebody's mother language. Now, Sanskrit, I think, is no one's mother language. Well, I don't think we are in that era. But Bengali is someone's mother language, and the way I recite, I feel, to be honest, I mean, if somebody will, I don't have, yeah, Hindi. I was born in Delhi. Hindi in Delhi is not authentic as such, so I won't get offensive. But I feel offense if I recite Bengali verses badly. So this is my attempt. I think I'm improving, but still there's a big improvement. So, so maybe I will request some others now and then to recite, or feel free if you like to. So let's go through what we have done so far. We have reached to the point where this is a section, and there are few verses, group of verses, a lot about food, a lot about the prashadam. So when I say food and prashadam, of course the food, because the ingredients are there, and the prashadam is getting prepared by ingredients, and I think we all do in some respect. So this is where it is. And again, I'm not very foodie, so I just get whatever prashadam is available. but the way the description is given here in so many different verses, it's amazing. And of course, I've been fortunate enough to be in association with some of the devotees who love Prasādam, and some who loves only preparing, maybe not taking. And of course, there are lots of mothers who are great example of this. So this is probably one of those most intimate section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is based on Prasādam, and Prasādam is always a favorite for all of us. So this is the grand feast by our Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya ji to the Lord. So last time we saw, he invited, and very kindly Lord Chaitanya accepted, and Lord Chaitanya is there. So we will read the verse and then translation, and then we will go through. There is a kind of group of verses with theme. So from 198 to maybe 205, 206, after which the cooking will start. And there are lots of verses, I think from 206 to 220, 221, where the preparation going on. So let's start here. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 15, verse 198. तुम्है निज छाया आस्पे मोरा घारा कबू संगे आसिबना स्वरूपा दामोदरा. So the translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamiji Maharaj, that sometimes you will come alone to my place, and sometimes you will be accompanied by Swarupa Damodara. So mention of another great devotee, and we have seen that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is there as a devotee, so great lead by example that we should always be in association with devotees. And then moving on to the next one, 199th. Prabhu re ingita pana anandita mana Seidina Mahaprabhura Kaila Nimantrana. So Nimantran is there, which is the invitation. Having this arrangement confirmed by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhattacharya became very glad and immediately invited the Lord to his house on that very day. So one of the takeaway here was that when we invite the Vaishnavas, of course here the Lord, but in terms of because Lord is acting as Vaishnav, when we invite the senior Vaishnavas, then it's very respectful. Sometimes, of course, we kind of go very friendly. But what Prabhuji mentioned in one of the lectures, that when we should invite, then doesn't really matter whether it's senior Vaishnav or junior Vaishnav, because whenever Vaishnavas come, we always do the Vaishnav Pranams, that it's very purifying for us. So we should always take that opportunity. But of course, here the Lord himself is coming up. And then verse 200. Sathira Mata Nama Bhattacharya Grihini Prabhure Maha Bhakta Taino Snehita Jani. Now the mention of the wife is there. Translation: Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife was known as Sathira Mata. And feel free to correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, because I have heard a few different variations of the names. So the mother of Sathi, she was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and she was affectionate like a mother. So I'm sure all of us feel blessed if our partner, our wife, our husbands, they are also on the path of devotion along with us, whether they are initiated or not. So I mentioned to someone when I'm here in Sanatan Dharma traveling again, and somebody asked that, is Mataji for my wife? Is Mataji also a devotee? So devotee is a big word, but yes, she has been initiated by Guru Maharaj Ji, so that was a blessing. And then Prabhuji, because Prabhuji is not married and he's looking for someone. And he is so I'm here in Jubail. I'm sure a lot of you who've been here for that long would know. So there is a yatra lead for the whole country, Sanatan Dham, but then there is a kind of yatra lead, if I say, or I think there is I don't know, there is another word, but chakra lead. We don't use this word, but I've heard those words in Mathura Desh. But that's him, and he has also dedicated his life and coming to the age where he's not married. But the marriage, the wife, if or the partner, if they are there with you in devotion, I think that's a great blessing. So someone was asking, because of course we are getting to that age, maybe where our kids are getting to the married age. So someone was asking me yesterday, "Oh, you are Hare Krishna." You know, the kanti gives away. "Oh, you are Hare Krishna." I said, "Well, humbly, yes." And then he said, "Oh, I've heard you always marry to Hare Krishna movement only." I said, "Well, that's not true, I think, because I've seen many exceptions. But yeah, of course, you would love to if you are one of those who understand that what you have is worthwhile, then you would love to have with that someone else. So it definitely helps if someone is there within your journey. So because you would cook, which I think Bhattacharya will do, but he has requested his wife. Oh, okay, great. So Ghare Aisa Bhattacharya Tanira Agnadila Anandastatira Mata Paka Kanela. So this is where they've started cooking now. They are going to. After returning to his home, Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya gave orders to his wife, and his wife, Satira Mata, began cooking with great pleasure. And this is again with nectar of instruction, where we say Utsaha Nischayat Dhairya. That not only that there is a pleasure, and I think we will see a lot and a lot of enthusiasm is there, which we should, and I think most of the time we do. When, like when I saw Nityam Nasima Prabhuji, it was such a pleasure because we have been a part of the journey together. We have done few courses together, and there's a lot to share. Similarly, when some Vaishnavas coming home, we should be following those instructions given by Srila Rupa Goswamiji in Updeshamrit, Nectar of Instruction. And Utsaha is definitely one of those which we will see in these verses. Okay, I've clicked. It's here. Bhattacharya Graha Sabha Dravya Acha Bhari Yeva Shakha Paladika Anaila Ahari. Now there is a lot of mention about the food and is going to get into a lot of details. At Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, there was always a full stock of food. Whatever spinach, vegetable, fruit, and so on were required. He collected and brought back home. So he has gone for fresh shopping, vegetable market, and has brought the vegetables. This is another great lesson. I hope we don't do it. I hope no one in our association or the movement does it. But I'm sure you would know some of the people, especially when you travel. We meet a lot of people, and they they cook over the weekend and they store in the fridge and the refrigerator, fridge and freezer, and then consume it during the week. Now, we should, as per the Bhagavad Gita, I think I've read somewhere that it only takes 3 hours. After 3 hours, it's not really good. But if somehow we got to have it, first of all, we cannot offer to the Lord. But if we can't offer to the Lord, can we have it? It's not worth it. So I also have someone in our team who started, and we can understand he's traveling, and just like us, he's there in the office. But the Prasādam, the when we from office when we come home, of course we don't have Lord Chaitanya coming to our home the way Bhattacharya was blessed, but still we have the deities with us in the wherever we stay. We always have deities with us. So should we do that? Should we also have that enthusiasm which Bhattacharya and Mataji had? It's amazing how they could do it. Whether we should do it. So this is one of those inspiration we could always take it. And I'm thinking in terms of personal reflections because as I said, I'm not very foodie at all. Whatever I get, I as a prasad, I will take it. But then, of course, if you are there, you need to offer to the Lord. Then it helps. It helps not only to maintain yourself, but the relation you develop with the deity you have. It's a very personal connection. So, when we read about these devotees, the way they have been, it's amazing. It's amazing. So, 203rd. Apani bhattacharya kare pakera sabha karma sathira mata vika vikasana jane paka marma how to cook. Sarva Bhattacharya personally began to help Satira Mata cook. She was very experienced and she knew how to cook nicely. So in the previous was when we read, it said that Bhattacharya gave order to Mataji, to his wife. And I thought, oh, that doesn't feel nice. But obviously later we found out that Bhattacharya came along. And that's another, again, coming from the Western world, a lot of, well, coming from the east side, India, the subcontinent, of course, husbands, they love for the wives to cook. And most of the wives, if they are housewives, they would. Even actually working wives, it's kind of their prime duty to cook. But here, the great devotees giving us, again, leading by example. And this is what they do. This is why it says in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjun asks Lord Krishna that how this sthit pragya, sit, talk, eat, sleep, behave, and then Lord Krishna said that what do they do once you are there? You lead by example. They live the life which we should get inspired to follow. So they are one of those things. So of course, to the Lord we can't follow what they do, but here as a great devotee, Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya, what he's doing, I think it's such an inspiration that we should certainly get there. And before I go any further, I haven't personally met as such, but if you would ever get the chance to get associated with the Bhaktivedanta temple, manor, we call it in short, in London. So there are two temples in London. One is in the Soho, which is the heart of London. The Oxford Street is there. I think if you say one of the most expensive streets in the world, maybe it is the one, or it could be second one. And temple is right there. And we completed 50th a few years back. And Prabhupada opened the temple there right in the heart of London. But there is another temple. This temple is a bit small. But then we move further up north, and there's a massive temple, which was given initially by George Harrison, and there is a George Harrison garden there. But later on, devotees' contribution expanded even further, and the Goshala is there. It's a beautiful day out over the weekend. A lot of devotees travel from all over the place. But there, everyone knows that there was Mataji is not there now, but Mata Kulangana. And so much so that every year we come get together in the memory of Mother Kulangana when Mother Kulangana disappeared and share a lot of. So I was not one of those who met Mother Kulangana, but I have been hearing so much, and I've seen some videos when Mother Kulangana served Srila Prabhupada. And one of the major things, somebody actually said to me that Mother Kulangana wasn't initiated, even though someone said that was. but then in not the way we get initiated these days. It could have been different way. But Mother Kulangna is not initiated name, and this is what I've heard. But so there is a bit of discrepancy on that side. But something where there is no discrepancy, everybody agrees, is that the way she used to cook, the way she, so we don't say Kulangna Mataji, we always say Mother Kulangna. She is the mother to everyone. The way, and again, the stories, the past times I have been hearing, I feel like I have personal connection to mother. I have lived in Bhakti Center, which has still been taken care of, one of the Prabhuji, who considered Mother Kulangna as his mother, because she was the one who inspired him to open Bhakti Center. So it's in Harrow, which is another quite famous place in London. A lot of Indians live there as well, but it's pretty posh in one sense. But this Bhakti Center is there. So again, the way we cook, the way mothers cook, the utsaha we have, the nishchaya, the determination, and again we will see in a bit whether we can complete those verses or not, but how much we could and how much we should. That's amazing. That's really, really amazing. So they have done the fresh vegetable shopping. I'm going to get further. So 204th, Pakasalara Dakshina Dui Bhoga Laya Eka Ghare Shala Gramera Bhoga Sevahaya. On the southern side of the kitchen were two rooms for offering food, and in one of them the food was offered to Shaligram Narayan. So Prabhupada has given a very small purport there, which is among the followers of the Vedic way, the Shaligram Shila, the Vigraha of Narayan, is worshipped in the form of a stone ball. In India, every Brahmin still worships the Shaligram Shila in his home. The Vaishyas and Kshatriyas may also engage in this worship, but it is compulsory in the house of Brahmin. Hare Krishna. So I hope we know Shaligram Shila. There have been many stories associated with Shaligram Shila. A lot I've seen these days, rather than having Shaligram Shila, we have Govardhan with us, because Govardhan also looks like Shaligram Shila, but then devotees decorate, which is even better, because we are part of the personalized movement. So if you beautiful, we got one in Manor, and I know some of the devotees got it at home as well. That the Shaligram, which is if I say the Giraji, and then the eyes are there, the tilak are there, the beautiful smile is there. It makes it such a personal experience, and this is what has been mentioned, that offer to not only to the Lord but to the deity as well, and deity is one of those things we can. The Gauranga Prabhuji's lecture I was mentioning, and he gave a lot of takeaways, and one of the takeaway he said that we should always take care of three things. So he said that whether we cannot study the Shastras, so of course we can read Shastras. Well, unfortunately, some of the devotees might not able to read, and I made the mistake recently. I printed so while I'm traveling, I met some amazing devotees when you go around. And this is one of the beauty of traveling, when you go and you meet these devotees. And this devotee been doing few things, but didn't have experience in others. Of course, some of the artis, and I mean, I'll put my hand up. I don't remember all the artis by heart, but I thought I will print some for them. And then I printed a few artis and I gave it to Prabhuji. And of course, when we have Prasādam, and Prabhuji, like all of us, is in the journey. So I thought, okay, let's have this mantra together. If you have it with us, when we all recite, Prabhuji will also recite, and he will remember. Like it happens gradually during the process. When I gave it to Prabhuji, Prabhuji said, "Oh, this is in English." And then I thought, this didn't even occur to me that what I printed, because even it's in Bengali or it's in Sanskrit, we always have English script there. So, of course, I apologize to Prabhuji. But then I realized that there are so many things we kind of take it for granted, because Srila Prabhupada ji translated everything into English. And then a lot of devotees did the hard work translating into different languages. So it's not that easy when we find Bhagavad Gita in Arabic, or we find Bhagavad Gita in Russian, Chinese, Spanish, so many different languages. And some of the great devotees, they have done great job. So if they hadn't done it, we couldn't have read or understood. So what Gaurang Prabhuji said, that of course you can read. If you can read, we cannot, not all of us, the example I just shared, not all of us could read. If we can read, it's based on some Vaishnavas' mercy, the hard work, not only Srila Prabhupadaji's hard work, but the followers of Srila Prabhupadaji who put their life together to deliver this for us. But even if we can read, not everybody could study. There is a big difference. A lot of times, and I would say for myself, before I came to the movement, I sat down with Vaishnavas. I had already read a lot of things, especially Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. But how we should study, the kind of questions we should ask, the kind of takeaways we should take, so it will change, it will transform our life. That was definitely missing. Read it like a user guide. I know the words and I might know the translation, but I didn't have the knowledge of the purpose. Hence, the whole understanding was missing. So this is what Gaurang Prabhuji said, that you can read, but you might not be able to study. So those who might not be able to do a lot of different things available, there are three things, and he gave the scriptural reference, that these three things we should always do it. Which is, the first one is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is much easier to do it, and which we have seen, whether somebody is French, Chinese, Spanish, doesn't really matter what's your language, you could, hopefully, it's easier to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so that was the first thing, that just chant Hare Krishna. If nothing else, just chant. And of course, from one of the Maharajis, a beautiful poem that is a lot of devotees, of course, say, oh, my mind doesn't stay, or I feel impure, this and that, a lot of excuses. And Maharaji wrote the poem that even if the mind strays, chant. Even if you don't feel like, chant. Even if you feel sleepy, chant. Even if you have done offensive, chant. So just chant. So that's the very first one, chanting Hare Krishna. And I can't forget when I asked one of the Prabhujis, Prabhuji, there are so many things you are engaged in. What is the main focus? And the answer was that all these things we do, they are helpful if when we sit down for chanting, our mind stays in what we are chanting. So all these practices, like one of those Karma Yoga. Well, of course, I'm not saying that everything is one of those, but Karma Yoga, because it helps you to purify, and your consciousness purify, and it helps you to chant, focus on chanting. So that's the very first thing, chanting Hare Krishna. But then the second is dancing in ecstasy. And again, it's one of those things almost everyone can do. And we have seen. So again, I was fortunate enough, while I was traveling just before the last weekend, we had Rath Yatra in London. Beautiful. If you ever been there, Trafalgar Square is one of the main sites, very close to where Buckingham Palace, where the king lives, Queen used to live, king lives there. And one of the biggest landmark is right at the front of the National Museum. And imagine one of the biggest place in London. And what do we have there right at the front? 3 carts. Jagannath Ji was there, right, with Balram Ji and Mother. It's a beautiful, all over you could see devotees there. So dancing, and of course it's a Rath Yatra, so while traveling, anyone and everyone coming around, they are just dancing. They don't understand what's happening, but being London, a lot of people gets drunk And sunny day, beautiful day, afternoon, they come around and they dance with you. A lot and a lot of experiences there with them. So anyone could chant, anyone could do the dancing. And the last thing, which is where we are here, eating prasadam. Now we got to eat anyways to take care of this body. So why not just eat prasadam? So when we do, we go out. So one of the major things which Guru Maharaj always say, and I can't forget because that was very personal, that a lot of devotees and now always share this, not only to inspire others but to remind myself that while, as you would know, being initiation is a long and winded process, and even before, on the day before you reach to Guru Maharaj Ji, a lot of times devotees will check, they will ask, oh, do you know this, this? For regulative principle, you've been following 16 malas, you have been doing this and that for so many years, 2, 3, 4 years. But when I reached to Guru Maharaj Ji only said one thing, and that was, will you help me spreading the name of the Lord? And now, how do we do that? And I think there it says that, of course, you can conduct classes, you can distribute books, you can invite people to the festivals, but even easier than them, if you can request chant Hare Krishna. Like I spent some time, and luckily enough, one of the friends, and I will say devotee now, got inspired, and he said, "Well, I would love to have the beat back." I said, "Hari Bol, sure. Next time you will come around, we will arrange something for you." And it's here. Happened yesterday, here in Saudi. So it's amazing in Sanatan Dham. But of course, chanting is easier, dancing when we meet together, and then eating prasadam. And the example here we have is the eating prasadam. Maybe one more verse here because that's in the same theme, which is Bhaiye eka dwara tare Prabhu pravishte Paka salare eka dwara ana pravishte. The room was so constructed. So we have seen the kitchen. The room was so constructed that there was only one door opening on the outside, which served as the entrance for Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. There was another door attached to the kitchen, and it was through this door that the food was brought. And I don't know if we know, but some of the traditional Brahmin homes I've seen, they always have the dining room next to the kitchen. And between the dining room and the kitchen, there is a bit of gap. And the food is served from the kitchen to the dining room from that, which is like we have separate rooms from where the devotees come and from where the prasadam comes. Because when the prasadam is coming, there shouldn't be any disturbance. And of course, if you've been there in Jagannath Ji, we see the kitchen is there, and when the prasadam coming, there are a couple of devotees who will just make everyone out of the way because the prasadam is coming. And maybe I will stop here. There are many other verses, but they will get into more detail of the food, and maybe the next devotee who will source. Yeah. So first 3 manas of cooking, I will go back. It will get a lot more into the detail, and I will request someone else next time to take care of how many different types of dishes were there. But it goes from 207 to I think 221st. These verses, just immense details of the Prashadam. And there might be some takeaways here. But before I go any further, I guess we still have maybe 10-15 minutes. Anyone would like to, of course, it's always open for discussion. Anyone would like to, shall I stop here? Maybe? Hare Krishna. Anyone who would like to share anything? What we have read today? Anything which, if in case, touched your heart? Hare Krishna. Rajesh Prabhuji, Hare Hare Bol.
प्रभु हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम्स। Prabhuji, I was reflecting upon the statement that you made that, there could be people who cannot read.
Yes.
Now, I have an opportunity to serve devotees
Haribol,
and
very
and some of whom who cannot read. We have had one session, and then
hmm
at the end of the session, I asked devotees to summarize or recap. What is one point you took away from this?
Yes.
And then there were few who said I didn't get anything out
Haribol.
of out of 1.5 hour introduction to Bhagavad Gita. So, I feel myself limited and challenged as
hmm
to how should I serve these people.
Okay. Haribol. Prabhuji, very, very practical question. I would like to ask something for the clarification. Prabhuji, what was the means and the mode of your preaching during that process when you were
verbal
there
verbal
alone?
verbal discussions, and we were discussing introduction to Bhagavad Gita.
Haribol. Did you go word by word what Srila Prabhupada has given in
Yeah,
introduction?
no, we are still in the introduction. We are not yet entered chapter 1 with verses and translation and all that.
Okay, Haribol. And did you discuss about Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji there as well?
As and where it comes in the description, yes.
Yes, yeah. Because Prabhuji, oh, and I guess this devotee you are referring to who couldn't read,
Few of them,
he
few of them.
few of them, right? And they were from Bharatvarsh, from India,
In the same region, Prabhu.
in the same region. Okay, no, yeah, I understand. So yes, Prabhuji, mind it with and because I've done few sessions of the whole Bhagavad Gita. What did I do? And this really, really helped. It might help you. We will open for other devotees to chip in as well. But before you go into it, because remember this introduction was written for a lot of Westerners. And then Prabhupada, especially in the introduction is immense. So Prabhupada wanted to give, or Prabhupada wants to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's pastime before getting into Lord Krishna's pastime. Well, maybe we don't have to go into that detail to start with. I don't know how much in detail did you go to, but if you keep it practical with their context, it will make sense. For example, if somebody goes to, if we usually ask, if somebody asks the question, we say, which profession you are in? And if the person is from that profession, you kind of try to give the example from their perspective. Now, where we are in Middle East, a lot of so in West it doesn't happen, but of course here we use the words white collar and blue collars. So the white collars, they will have different service. The blue collars, they will have the service which the white collars will never able to do. So even when we do the preaching we do for the white collar and blue collar, it's a bit different. It is a bit different. Of course, you can have everyone together, but there got to be some takeaways just for them. And for example, this Prabhuji I mentioned in my example, he might not sit, and he didn't. We did 3 sessions there. He didn't sit there. But where he was there in the kitchen preparing the Prasādam for everyone. He came, he sat down, but he couldn't focus. He went back to the kitchen. And he did it few times. So Karma Yoga chapter 3 probably would be more closer to the heart rather than chapter 4 transcendental knowledge. It's a process where I will request Prabhuji with somebody who is very new, I don't think you need to go word in word. Maybe there is another way, which is because you said verbal. Sometimes you can use the presentations
Slides.
and text you can use, yeah. But the slides are there, the presentations are there, and I have some presentations. One of the Prabhuji he has made available. Well, we have created, or if again not in detail to start with, what might be even beneficial, sometimes we go for any courses, we see the overview. So there is a saying in presentation, first you go, you tell what you are going to tell, then you tell, and then right at the end you kind of summarize and tell everyone that I have told you this. So 3 times we repeat it. So the very first overview is very important. In overview, maybe we can have like 18 slides, 1 slide on each chapter. We have done it. I personally served where we did 18 sessions, so 18 hours, and we had 18 chapters covered in that. And with that, people knew what gonna cover, and from there, a lot of devotees got interested. And because every time I said, "Well, I'm just doing one chapter on one session," but if you would like to get into detail, we are going to finish these 18 then, and after that, we will go into detail. A lot of devotees they came for them. Not that a lot of them stayed, but a lot of them are there with us with that. So that could be one of the tricks, Prabhuji. Any question
Okay.
on what I've said, Prabhuji, before we open to anyone
No,
else who would?
do you have slides in Hindi?
Yes, Prabhuji, feel free to
Okay,
text you. So I have
I'll
them in.
WhatsApp you. Yeah.
Please, yeah, I have a lot of slides are there actually, which some I have created, but one of the devotees, one of the Prabhuji has created a lot beautiful slides, beautiful slides. So yes, Prabhuji, they will help. They will definitely help.
Okay.
There is a
Thank you.
saying, Hare Krishna, a picture says more than 1,000 words.
Hmm.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Bol,
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you.
So I would like to add one more point to what you said for Rajesh Prabhu's question.
Please, Prabhuji.
Um,
Yes.
Actually, the introduction of Srila Prabhupada, what is given in the Bhagavad Gita, it is actually we have to uh, like depending on the audience
Yes.
because it is actually the high standard. If you read introduction of Bhagavad Gita, sometimes even the regular devotees also will get bewildered. So it is some places it appears to be very high standard. So actually, Prabhupada has made this not as introduction, but I think one of his lectures for this one was written as introduction of for the Bhagavad Gita. So
Yes.
depending on the audience, we may have to because we may not they may not be able to like some may be not educated or they are not coming from a different background, different countries, different background. So they may not be able to understand that high level of introduction. So we may have to condense it according to the audience. So that way will help because if you go on because if you see Bhagavad Gita introduction, it runs into several pages. It is not 1 2 pages. It is several pages of introduction. But by the time we start reading itself, sometimes we feel, oh my God, there's so much we need to cover. So sometimes we ourselves will feel. So it definitely it is a high standard, but it's wonderful kind of overview Prabhupada has given. But according to the audience, we may have to present it without losing the content. So we may have to present it according to based on the audience. So this is what I feel. And plus, what you mentioned about the slides. So this may not suit for the audience which Rasesh Prabhu was talking about because they're coming from a completely different background. They are kind of workers. So it may not suit.
Yes.
So the kind of audience is different. They're not
Mhm.
coming from educated, highly educated background, but they are wonderful devotees and
Yes.
yeah. So
Yes.
I suggest it has to be based on the audience. Sham Sundar Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Like to hear your
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
thoughts.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanwad, Prabhuji.
हरि बोल.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Would you
Dhanwad.
like to add anything, Prabhu, to the
Yes,
topic what we
Prabhuji.
are discussing?
Yes, Prabhuji.
No, no, actually, Rasesh Prabhu was asking some question. I think you
Ah,
joined now, right?
yes, Prabhuji. Just
Yeah.
a few minutes before I joined.
Yeah, Rasesh Prabhu was asking some question about the introduction of Bhagavad Gita when he delivered 1.5 hour lecture. Some when he asked for question answers, some said they didn't understand anything. So he was asking what should I do? How do I? So we're just
And few
discussing
of
on.
them cannot read, Prabhu.
So we'll give summarized points, Prabhuji, from the introduction. So I did
That
two
is
times.
what we did, Prabhu. So we read word by word, and then
Uh-huh.
after each paragraph, I will recap. What is the gist of that paragraph that we read.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Introduction reading word by word by word to that audience, it will be very high standard, Prabhu. The
Yes.
Okay.
Kala and Karma, so for them it is like bouncers. Even for us also, introduction is like that.
Yes. Prabhuji, you
It's
try
difficult.
one word by word with
Summarized version of introduction is much better.
Okay.
Then you go for because it is actually the overview of Bhagavad Gita. If you see,
Yes. Yes. It
it is
is.
overview of Bhagavad Gita. So we are giving whole Bhagavad Gita essence before we even start. So, but again, as I said, depending on the audience, we may have to not to change the
In detail.
content, but
Yeah.
in the
Not in
way
detail.
they can understand.
Not in detail. So we can give the gist of Bhagavad Gita, importance of Bhagavad Gita, and why we have to read Bhagavad Gita. What is
Yes,
the
that's all.
content going to deliver? Like that, some 5-6 questions are there overall in introduction. That we have to give introduction to the newcomers. Then we will go detail later on.
Okay,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Okay. Thank you.
One
Hare
more thing,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, one more thing. Last class, Sakshi Premi Mataji is there. She raised one question. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. She raised one question. Why Mahaprabhu accepted 4 months stayed in Venkatabhatta house in Srirangam and not accepting Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya house
Yes.
while looking for food. Yeah. I discussed with senior devotees here. They gave reason. The first one is Mahaprabhu keep on traveling during that 4 months time. Keep on traveling. One thing, he has to stay one place. And this is the first reason he is chosen that Venkatapetta house. And second reason for foretold vision or long sight vision, he want to take one pure devotee, that is Gopalapatta Goswami from his house. And third point is he want to spread the Krishna consciousness in all over the South India, particularly in Tamil Nadu, because that is completely influenced by Sri Sampradaya. So you want to spread the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the Sankirtana movement, entire that area. Then this is the three reason he stayed mainly their house, Venkatapatra house. That is the reason. And the other side, why he denied in Sārvabhauma Bhattacharya house is already fixed his mind to stay in Gambhira, which is Gopinath Acharya house. Gambhira, that location name we know. There he already decided and exclusively he want to stay there. And he is having option, he is having his own decision to stay there. And that's why you don't want to disturb. And the main thing, you don't want to break his sannyasa rule during in staying in, along with the staying in Puri. Whereas there he relaxed, he took some relaxation in sannyasa order. That is why he stayed there. Like that, they gave some clarity, Mataji. This is the reason
Yeah.
why he stayed, accepted 4 months here, not here.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It means a lot, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So thank you, Prabhuji. VP Govinda Prabhu. I missed your class, complete class. I joined lately. I'll listen YouTube your class, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You didn't miss much, Prabhuji. It's okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad Prabhuji. Thank you for your contribution, Prabhuji. Hare Bol. Thank you so much, Rajesh Prabhuji, for that question. And like Prabhuji has also said that not a lot of text. And even for this slide, a lot of stories and analogies they could remember can stay with us. So even the slides are not full of text. The slides are full of stories and examples. So a picture would be there, and the picture will stay in their mind. And then rather than 1.5 hours, we do 15-20 minutes. Then we engage. We ask questions. So rather than asking the question, what do we remember? Probably ask 15-20 minutes later that what did we get from there, what are the takeaways, so you understand, do you need to continue the same mode or do you need to change the mode? rather than 1.5 hours, it's better to understand after 15-20 minutes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Then we
Hare
pronounce.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
And I think we are right at the end. Anyone else would like to add anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much, VP Govind Prabhu. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol, Prabhuji. Thank
Very
you so much.
nice class. And Rashesh Prabhu, thank you for your questionnaire regarding the
Hare
Bhagavad.
Krishna, Prabhuji, can I ask you something?
Hare Krishna. Then we pranam Mataji. Yes, please, Mataji.
My humble obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas here. Prabhuji, as
Hare
they
Bol.
say that Kanthi Mala and Vaishnav Tilak are inseparable from a devotee and they are part of his precious existence in the world. In the same
Yes.
way, they need to make smile and forgiveness be part of their valuable persona and
Hare
ignore
Bol.
faults, if any,
Yes.
of others, because we may have more than them, which we may not be even aware of.
Mhm.
So, patience and tolerance are necessary for our smooth journey of Krishna consciousness. But how to maintain that inspiration and what do you call it? You know,
Yes.
equilibrium and balance of our mind, and how to have a very smooth journey, and how to have very smooth relationship with the others, and how to ignore the faults of others. So what in your eyes would be best for for the one who is looking for it? If you
Mhm.
can please
Hare
suggest. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Such a beautiful question you have. And I really love when we think in terms of practical day-to-day life rather than just to grasp the knowledge in our head, because knowledge should transform into wisdom. So I guess there's a lot of wisdom in your question. The very first thing, Mataji, from my personal experience and what I've heard, I think it's fair to say if I will just say the question, part of the question was that how to make sure the journey is smooth. So Mataji, I think it's almost guaranteed that journey will not be smooth. In material world, with material body, with material mind, the journey will not be smooth. So I think if we just, because this is an expectation that how to make the journey smooth, I think we should drop the idea that the journey will be smooth. We can take the example of Lord Krishna and Arjun. Lord Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita to Arjun before Mahabharata started. Lord Krishna was there with the Pandavas and they lost everyone in their family. Lord Krishna didn't save. Their journey wasn't. Abhimanyu was killed. 16-year-old son was killed right when the Krishna. I mean, what else could be there more than that? Right? And there are many more examples. Srila Prabhupadaji's example was his journey smooth. His Holiness Jayapataka Swamiji Guru Maharaj's journey was that smooth. Is it smooth? So Mataji, I think it will be unfair if we will even request to have a smooth journey. We should, of course, with utsaha, with determination, but with a lot of patience, as you said, we should continue the journey despite the troubles in the path. So the very first thing to say out loud, then I don't think the journey will ever be smooth. However, what could happen there, it's not that it's all doom. What could happen is there is a saying that if our vision is focused on the goal, then we don't see the obstacles, right? When Srila Prabhupada went to America, his goal was to spread Hare Krishna movement. All the obstacles came and they went, but they didn't stop him. So similarly, if we know the focus, if we know the goal, what is the goal? And if we just focus on the goal, then whatever happens, it's like we have GPS, we know we need to go to office from home. A lot of red lights will come, maybe a lot of construction will come. Sometimes we might have to take the date, or sometimes we might be late. Sometimes we might meet our own accident. It might happen. But our goal is to reach office, which we will. Even if it's delayed, we will go. Even if the car had an accident, maybe we will take the taxi or go, maybe leave the car in the garage and then go. But at the end, we will go to the garage. Maybe we will not go on that day or on that morning. We might go in afternoon or we will go next day. So first thing, we should drop the expectation that the journey will be smooth. Let's be realistic. Journey will never be smooth. In this material world, we will definitely have those three miseries because this is dukh alyam ashashvatam. So with material body and mind, we will always be in one terms miserable. However, the respite is if we will keep the focus on Krishna and if we are in the association of the Lord. Like what really helps me when I hear these inspiring stories. They really help me personally. So I think, Mataji, this is the simplest way of understanding. Expectations goes low, association goes high, more inspiration, and then because see, you feel something. You said the smooth, so which means that you felt somewhere it was not smooth. Then hear the story of another devotee whose trouble was bigger than your trouble. Then you will understand. Like as I said, I mean, I might give excuses for many things, but when I saw the devotee who can't even read and write, or maybe couldn't read English, that devotee is serving so well, and I thought, shame on me. I'm making excuses on these silly things. So it's not that the smoothness has come, but I have realized that I need to be more tolerant. And so patience is different and forgiveness and tolerance is different. Like Srila Prabhupada ji always says, and many other disciples also said that if anyone who gives you the misery, they are just the postman. It's the result of our own karma. So if somebody is giving you the result of your own karma, why do you even think that you are tolerating? They are tolerating you because of your past karma. They had to do the misdeed to give you back the result of your karma. So you should be feeling sorry for them rather than shouting on them. So I think a bit of consciousness shift can help. But would you like to say something on that, Mataji, please?
Wow, very nicely explained, Prabhuji. I appreciate your maturity to understand everything so minutely, and the use of words like is awesome. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. It means a lot. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
My
Krishna.
humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranams, Mataji. Thank you so much. That glorification goes to our Amog Leela Prabhuji says, somebody when gave a very nice compliment like that, Amog Leela Prabhuji said that I am the word he used, he's in Delhi, so he used in Hindi. He said karchi. So he said the vegetable, the sabji is there one place. You want to put in your plate. You take the karchi and you put it there. So why do you need to praise the karchi? Karchi is one of the Latin, which is just serving you, moving things from one place to another. So similar things for us, Mataji. For me, I would say I'm just whatever I'm hearing, and it's such a pleasure to be in association of devotees that whatever I hear, I understand, I'm sharing, Mataji. There is hardly anything from my own side. As I said, I had read a lot before, but only understood in association of devotees. I mean, some of them who were there and present when I was, and I still ask a lot of questions. So it's a trouble for my Siksha gurus, but they are so merciful, so tolerant with me. So thank you a lot for that, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anything? Hare Baba.
It is a reflection of your own persona also, Prabhuji. It is your journey, which is enriched by the mercies of your seniors, your guru. Everything means a lot on this path.
Hare Krishna. Definitely, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Baba. Thank you so much. It is. Like it says, when you see a student, you can judge the teacher. So certainly we all are a representative of our own movement. So wherever we go, and people do, when people see this Hare Krishna movement, they know straight away. Like yesterday, we went there and they start, oh, you are vegetarian. I said, well, I'm vegetarian, but I don't even have onion and garlic. And then the discussion started. Why? Which gives us the great opportunity to discuss a lot of stories from Bhagavatam. And well, this is what we have learned. This is what we share. Hare Krishna. I think the time is running out, and devotees are disappearing. Anything else anyone would like to contribute to today's session before we come to the closure, please?
Yes, Prabhu, actually, it's very nice verses, Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, Bhattacharya was inviting Mahaprabhu, and his wife is very eager, very glad to serve the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they were discussion what to be offered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and what to be purchased and cooked and what should be items to be served to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it should be always like we should, as a Grihastha, we should be always very eager and very eager to serve all the Vaishnavas in whatever way. See, or it should not be like some devotees are very financially well versed, or some devotees are like that. But in whatever capability, what we could able to serve a Vaishnava, a bit of fruit or a bit of flower, whatever we could able to do, that should be a which is very heartfully we have to serve to every Vaishnava. That and it should be an offering to the Lord. How the wife has taken care to cook the items, like every devotees in a family, the husband and wife together in whatever capability they could able to do, and they could able to serve in such a way. They have to come forward to serve the Vaishnava, which I could able to understand from the verses today. Thank you very much for a wonderful session, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Jai Haribol. Hare Krishna.
Hare
We will end the session. Please glorify the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.